Hello, everyone. Good afternoon from here in Stockport in the UK. It's Sunday once again, um, where I can't believe it that we're already halfway through the first month of the new year. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think it's just this year is just going too fast, or maybe I'm just having too much fun or something. But anyways, yeah, it's just gone 2 o'clock here in the UK, which means it's 10 o'clock in the evening in Manila. A very good evening to all of you out there. Hopefully, you're watching us live. But if not, you can always catch up on the YouTube channel of Asta Drama. But good evening to all of you there. Anyways, so this week we've got a world class drummer as our guest. I saw him at the Hammersmith Apollo in last year in London, and the stage setup was absolutely incredible. There were two drummers on stage, and you know me, I like drummers. It's like heaven. It's unbelievable, um, and I'm just so glad that when I asked if he could guest on Ask the Drummer, he said yes. So I'm really pleased that he said yes to us. And he's here now. So, my dear friends, please welcome David Greenie Green.
Hi everyone,
Yay!
hi Anne. Nice to meet you. How you doing?
How are you? How are you?
Good. Yeah, good. It's quite a chilled Sunday here, so not bad. Everything's
Yeah,
all right. Yeah. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's still cold, isn't it?
It's still cold. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm in Italy at the minute, and it's definitely the heart of winter here. So, yeah,
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you were in the UK, but it's the same time, isn't it? In
it is.
Italy.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's the same seasons and stuff like that. So yeah, the layers are on. So
Yeah, yeah, I've got layers as well.
Yeah.
But before we actually continue, I just want to say a massive shout out to Martin McCarthy.
Yes.
Um, Thanks for the introduction, Martin. I know that he's on Facebook break at the moment, so, but hopefully he's watching us live today
Yeah.
because he
No.
did ask for, yeah, he did ask for the link. So thank you so much, Martin.
Yeah.
Right. So, I said that the year so like seems to be going too fast. That's the same with you, or what
Yeah,
is
I mean, it is. I'm in a bit of a bubble at the minute because we just had a new baby, so we're in that sort of newborn phase. It is. I haven't really got any concept of time. It's very similar to being on tour. So it gets dark, it gets light. Sleep when you can, and you're awake with a baby at 4 a.m. But it is going fast. It because I've not kept an eye on it. Like looking back, I'm like, wow, it's going to be February soon. Like writing the wrong year down when I'm filling in forms like 2025. Going, no, we're not there now. So
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you said that as well. But anyways, welcome to Ask the Drummer.
thank you.
Episode 196 is all about you, David Green, or Greenie. How long have you had your name is Greenie? Have you always been called Greenie?
Was like even my family call me Greenie. Yeah, I first remember it from like infant school when I was about 5 or 6. It just yeah, and then it just became a name that like people called me in the industry. So I was like, okay, I guess it stands out. I don't know, so I just kept it. And I tried
Yeah.
some people call me Dave or David. That's me official name, I guess. But yeah, I tried doing that for a while, and everyone's just like Greenie. I'm like, I guess that's stuck. No pun intended. So yeah,
Yeah. Are you an only child?
I am. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, because I was gonna say, I mean, if there's more of you, then everybody will be called
Greenie
Greenie.
one, Greenie two, Greenie senior, Greenie junior. Yeah, maybe for my kids, you never know.
Well, uh, I did my research and I've Googled you, of course. That's why I know that you're a world class drummer.
Wow,
And I found out that you're from Gateshead,
I am.
which
Yes,
is that's where Angel of the North is. That's how much I
yes.
know about Gateshead.
My secondary school was about a 10-minute walk from Angel of the North. We used to see it. I remember it being sort of. It didn't take long to sort of build and put together because it was already sort of built and they just put it in place. But I remember the day walking to school and seeing it kind of getting put into place and stuff. Yeah, it was very close to where I used to go to
Oh,
school.
yeah. I remember because I moved to Manchester in 1996, and I think a year later,
Yeah,
that's when they had Angel of the North. And I remember it when we went there that year. and it
Hmm.
was still like grass, and you can just go near it and everything. But last time we went there, it's already
Hmm.
got like a proper pathway, and then you
Yeah.
can like go through it. I think there are like tables for picnics and things like that now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. It was a big deal. We had the guy, the architect, designer, whatever you want to call it, Anthony Gormley. He came to our school like a few years before it was when it was announced. I think it was like 1995 or something, because I was first or second year senior school. He came and did a big talk and talked about the plans for it
okay,
and stuff. So it was really
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Gateshead is on the way to Newcastle if you're coming from Manchester, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Gates.
very different.
Yeah. 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 It's like you've
Yeah,
got River Tyne and you've got Newcastle and Gateshead. So yeah.
right. Because I had a look, because I think there are lots of famous musicians from Newcastle. But Gateshead, I found out that the drummer of the Animals, John Steele,
Right.
he's from Gateshead. I think he's
Ah,
the most famous musician from
yeah. Yeah.
apart from you now.
Well, I didn't know that about the Drum of the Animals. Actually, I knew they're from Newcastle, obviously, because it's like it's legend. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's Gateshead is known for a lot of footballers as well, like Gaza. Yeah, Chris Waddle, I think, was from Gateshead. There was quite a few. So, but the
Yeah.
Northeast, there's so many musicians, and it's quite not many people realize how many well-known musicians and songwriters and singers and bands or artists come from the Northeast. It's crazy. It's really
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, what was Gateshead like when you were growing up? Like the music scene, and did you go to lots of gigs there when you were a teenager or young adult?
So, there wasn't much of a scene in Gateshead. There was a lot of pubs. There was a lot of kind of like pubs and clubs, and I was very lucky because there was a music shop near where I lived, and it was like a second-hand music store. They'd sell instruments like second-hand vinyl, and I started going there when I was 13 and just hanging out with these guys who, at that point, were in like their 40s. So they were around like in the 60s and the 70s, and they saw like Led Zeppelin, they saw Black Sabbath, Free, because Free there's a sort of northeast connection with Paul Rogers being from Middlesbrough. So Free would always play in the northeast in like social clubs. So all these
Oh,
guys like saw them, hung out with them, and I started
yeah,
gigging with them when I was like 14 in pubs, sneaking in and playing all these sort of rock covers. So that's the scene I knew in Gateshead. And then like eventually you would gravitate to Newcastle and you'd move there, and that's where kind of a bigger sort of like because Newcastle being a city, that's where you'd go, and then there'd be like the bigger venues, the university, the academies, and uh,
yeah,
so that was the natural progression. But I cut my teeth in Gateshead. I gigged, yeah, from the age of 14 till about
right.
60. I'd do the classic gig on a night, move the gear back to wherever, then get a few hours sleep, then go to school kind of thing. So
Oh, right. Were you from a musical family?
a lot of
Your
my
mom and dad?
my mum and dad don't play instruments, but my mum was heavily just a fan of music. My granddad was a musician his whole life. He started on the mouth organ when he was 7, and then he started playing the accordion. And then when the accordion kind of went out of fashion and the organ became popular, he learned to play an organ, and he did that till he was 70, till he physically couldn't do it. So he was a big influence. And then two of my uncles played guitar as well. So there was a lot of music around the family, which definitely had an impact. So
Yeah, but what got you into drumming though? Any of the family members drummers or
it, it
none
was
of them?
it was
No.
by pure accident. It was a total happy accident. Do you want the long version or the short version?
Well, long version would be good.
I've told this story a few times, but I was actually late for school. I was in my last year of primary school, which was I was 11, so 10 or 11. And there was sort of two classes for each year in a little art kind of room in the middle. It was quite a new school. And I turned up late. My teacher was like, all of the students are in the other class doing this kind of like drum lesson. And she gave me a bit of paper, and it was like it's a sort of like yes or no to every. It was like questions like call and response. There was basically a drum teacher there who had a snare drum and was doing little rudiments and kind of patterns, and
Yeah.
everyone had to tick yes or no. to what his question was, whether they thought it was the same or the different rudiment or whatever. And I snuck in the back. No one in the class knew I'd gone in because they were all paying attention to this drum teacher. I wasn't that late, but there was a girl, and she was kind of hiding her answers from everybody else. And I could see all her answers at the back of the class, so I copied off her answers. If you got 17 or over out of 20, you got offered free drum lessons at the school. And she didn't take the lessons, but I did. So
Oh, I see. But
that's
is it always the drums that you're interested in when
no,
you were a kid, or
not at all. I was just interested in music.
in
But
music? Yeah, yeah,
yeah, but obviously the family playing in a beat. I just remember being in the house and my grandparents, my immediate family. So it was like I think a lot of seeds were planted in the 80s because I was born in the early 80s. But then
yeah,
I took those drum lessons, and like 2 years later, I'd learned to play all the basic beats. I was getting quite proficient. I really enjoyed it. But then I got into a lot of music when I was 12, and a lot of these kind of like greatest hits albums of bands from the
yeah,
80s coming out in the mid 90s. And then there was just something happened. There was an explosion and an obsession started. But I got a lot of these albums for Christmas that year, but because I could play most of them, because it was quite commercial rock, a lot of 80s rock, a lot of 80s pop rock, I, I knew how to kind of jam along with it. And that's when it started. That's when I was just like, drums is for me. And literally from the age of 12, I feel very lucky in the sense that I knew what I wanted to do with my life.
yeah.
So, and that's when it
Would you
started.
say then that it came to you naturally? You're a
Exactly.
natural, sort of
I
like.
wasn't pushed. And that continued with my family when I was younger. I was never told, "Oh, you should get a proper job, or you should study more and don't worry about that music." And it was never like pushed in a sense of like you've got to play, you've got to get good. There was no pressure, so it was very natural, very like my choice. I wasn't rebelling against anything. So
Yeah,
yeah, I guess there was ownership in that, and I never looked back, and still haven't really. So
yeah. What about your first drum kit? Did you have one at home, or what is it?
I built one at home, which was like
You built one?
yeah, just out of odds and ends. It was like a cassette uh, tape box, the sort of box that goes in as a bass drum. There was a gravy tin that was empty that had coins in. I thought that sounds like a hi-hat, so that was a hi-hat. And one of those little things you put your hand in, like the nails, and it forms the shape.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought that sounded like a snare drum. So I just built this little kit when I was like 10, 11 years old. And that's when I started just playing. Because with drums, it's you can tap on your legs and you can work out parts. You can
Yeah.
practice the coordination and stuff. So I did that for a few years. And then by the time I was sort of 12, 13, I was at school in the music room playing on a kit. And then when I was 14, my grandfather bought me a drum kit, which was called California. And it was a beaten up old jet black thing. You'd hit the rack tom and it would spin around. It was just, but a bit of gaffer. And I just played on that thing for like 3 or 4 years, just every day, 7 hours a day, most of the time.
Oh
And
my God.
that's where I really sort of learned how to put the pieces together, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a guest on the show who built their own drum kit.
Yeah.
It's like-
And it
that's so
wasn't very loud
cool.
either. That was the good thing. I could play on it because it was just like a gravy tin, a cassette box, and this thing you put your hand in. So I was, getting wooden spoons and just listening to songs and just putting things together. So yeah, you
God,
know,
it's fantastic. That's really good. But anyway, so Aiden the Rock said sound and vision great. Aiden is our tech support, so that's
okay,
brilliant.
brilliant.
So you obviously had your lessons at school, drumming lessons. But is that true though? Because this is another one that I found out. Is it true that one of your drumming teachers, Steve White from the Style Council?
It was, but that was a lot later. So
Oh, I
yeah,
see. You were already playing drums, but you were already in a band by then, because you said that
yeah,
you started at 14.
yeah. I'd done loads of stuff by then. But what happened was I won an award from Rhythm Magazine Music Radar. They have this sort of best in drums yearly polls, and I won best new
Yeah.
drummer. So I mean, I'd been playing drums for like nearly 25 years by the time I won best new drummer. But I was like, okay, I've reached that level now. So I'd done well. I got to a certain level where I was like, I really want to push myself further now. I've got this kind of accolade award. So that's when I got in touch with Steve, and I was like, I just kind of said, could you take a look at me drumming, me posture, if there's any bad habits developed, kind of go
Yeah.
down the rabbit hole. Because once I got in bands when I was real sort of original bands, when I was 16, 17, after I'd done the cover stuff, I kind of didn't read music much. I didn't get lessons much. So you had that little bit of like, I'm going to be a rock star, and you realize you're not. So I knew I wanted to go back to like reading jazz, all the things that Steve's amazing at, and yeah, we went down the rabbit hole, and it was brilliant.
That's amazing. Well, he's actually doing a tour, and I'm hoping to go and see him in Manchester sometime in April. So hopefully, I could get him on Ask the Drummer as well. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, he's
But
great.
you mentioned winning an award because I saw that as well. You were voted best new drummer, but you
Mhm.
mentioned you've already been drumming like a long time before you're actually
Yeah,
named as best new drummer. So it wasn't just all cover bands. You actually had your own original, so like original material band.
yeah.
Can
I mean,
you talk about it? Yeah, yeah.
sorry, go on.
Can you talk about the first proper? I mean, I shouldn't say proper because being in a cover band that's also brilliant as well. But your first original material
Yeah,
band that
yeah.
that you
That
were playing drums in.
that was like a band in Newcastle, and we were together for 9 years. I was starting to do sessions around it. That was from like 1999 till, yeah, 2008, and we were called the Psychedelic Breakfast, named after the Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast Pink Floyd song. So we were like, looking back, we knew our music like as teenagers, and we'd listen to everything from the 50s until the 90s, and we did so much. We started our own little record label in Newcastle, and we put our own nights on Newcastle, and we made it this big sort of, yeah, it was like a real scene we started. But it didn't. We never got signed to a major. There was a lot of people interested in us in the early to mid noughties.
Yeah,
But we did a lot. We used to release our own EPs. We released 2 albums. I think we released about 7 or 8 EPs, and we just gig. We gigged all the time. We'd go down to London every weekend in the back of a transit van and put a mattress in the back and use our backdrop as a blanket and stuff for whoever wasn't sitting in the front. We really we did the toilet tour. We did some stuff in Europe, but it just kind of come to a natural end, and I started getting offers from other bigger bands and sessions to sort of join. So I left, but we all lived together and everything. We lived in a shared flat in Newcastle, so it was a real yeah, it was a really important time in my personal life and drumming sort of career.
yeah, yeah. But you didn't. You said that you released EPs, and were they like physical copies? Because on Discogs, I looked up your name,
Mhm.
but maybe it's on somebody else's. So like, I didn't see that psychedelic breakfast thing. The
No.
first one I saw is a band called Vant, which
Oh
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
a punk band. So was this after psychedelic breakfast?
Yeah, psychedelic breakfast, because it was all kind of like very in-house, very local Newcastle scene. We got like airplay in sort of America and Europe, but because it was even before like sort of MySpace and everything, it would just be we would literally make the album, well, not the albums, but the EPs. We do
Yeah,
everything, and we
yeah,
distribute them ourselves. But it never went kind of national. But Van, that was I guess the first sort of original band I was in that got signed was 2008. So there was a band called Detroit Social Club. There was a band called Little Comets, and there was a band called Vant.
yeah.
So they were all signed to major labels, and that was like 2008 is when I went kind of to the next level and started really working in the music industry at a higher place. So
So
yeah.
these three bands, they're all going so like around the same time, and you're playing drums in all of them, or is it just one after another? When the other one finished, you
It
joined
was,
another
yeah,
band.
I was very lucky because it was one after another. So those 3 bands, that was kind of more or less 10 years, really. And then in the background, I was doing a lot of session work with different people. So for 10 years, I was just solid, like non-stop all the time. I was very, very lucky. But the bands as well, yeah, it was like all of them were like sort of 2-3 year campaigns. So by the time I joined Vant, because Detroit Social Club and Little Comets kind of more or less got dropped after one album, and it was the
Oh,
same
okay.
kind of same thing 2 times. So that when I joined Vant, I was like, well, I'll get 2 or 3 years out of it at the very least if it doesn't go well. And lo and behold, it was like 3 years. So, but
Yeah.
it was very good. We those three bands we toured everywhere. We went all over the world with them and released albums on majors and did lots of big support tours. It was really good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, those three bands that you mentioned, they're actually on Discog. So, but I didn't see that psychedelic. I need to look it up and see if
We're
someone,
out there somewhere.
if it's a rare one, it'd
Yeah,
probably be worth a lot of money. But there's
maybe.
also another one called Red Velvet Lovers. Is that another band that you joined? Is it after Vant or before Vant?
So that was like when I joined Little Comets as well. So that was
Little
around
Comets.
2011. And that was a girl called Katie Wazel who was on X Factor. So she put a band together, and I got asked to be the drummer. And it was a kind of like, yeah, that there was a few kind of really good musicians in there, and it was really good. There was a lot of people connected to it. It didn't really go anywhere, but we wrote
Yeah,
a lot of material. This I think there's some stuff on Spotify now and some stuff on YouTube. But we worked with some like big names, like people like Tommy Henriksen, who's Alice Cooper's guitarist and the Hollywood Vampires guitarist. We did a lot of writing with him and studio work. So yeah, but we did, that was one of those ones where we did so much material and some really good stuff, but it never saw the light of day, sort of things.
oh, it's a shame. I mean, speaking of Hollywood vampires, I mean, they're also touring this
Yeah,
year.
I've seen them. Yeah, they're good.
I'm hoping to see them in Manchester, but fingers crossed, because I know the tickets are going to be really expensive. But
Yeah, Tommy's great, the guitarist. He's such a nice guy, but he can write a song in like 10 minutes. It was amazing. He's like, what do you guys want to do? And we're like, let's try this. And he'd be like, he'd have a plan straight away. And it was like, wow,
yeah,
okay. He's very, very good at what he does.
wow. And then did you just concentrate on being a session drummer after all these bands? Because the one that really caught my attention is that you played drums for Andy Taylor.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what's he like? I mean, I know that I've seen on social media that his health is not very good at the
Hmm.
moment.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you played, drums for him, he's
Hmm.
still he's still okay and doing, you know,
Yeah.
touring and stuff. So what's he like? And are you a fan of Duran Duran?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a strange one because Andy's from the northeast where I'm from. He's from Cullercoats, which is maybe a 15-minute drive from where I was born.
Oh,
So, and when I was young, you'd hear stories about him, and people like for example those guys that I talk about in the music shop. That kind of scene, people from the '70s and stuff, they could remember him because he was in a lot of cover bands in the late '70s before he joined Duran in the Northeast. So he was around the Newcastle scene. So I always knew about him. And obviously, when you get a bit older, I got into Duran Duran. Love their early stuff and the
mm,
section of Roger Taylor and John Taylor. And I often used to think, wow, well, if he can do it, then anybody can. So he was kind of an influence anyway before I met him. And again, that was around the same time, 2011. I just got asked to do a session with him, and we hit it off straight away. And I spent a lot of time as a studio drummer in Ibiza, like between 2011, 2018, on and off. But he's great. He's very, very, very down to earth. Very nice guy. He was like a real mentor for me when I was, you
yeah,
know, wanting to go that real next level because obviously he's a huge songwriter. He's a huge producer. He did some massive albums back in the day. So it
yeah,
really took me under his wing a bit, and we just kind of hung out in the studio and like live together really and work on different projects. His solo album, artists he was producing, I'd play drums, and we just do a lot of stuff for fun. We recorded loads of Duran Duran stuff, and because he was
yeah,
there, he knew everything, and it
yeah.
was a good time. And obviously being in Ibiza, and it's a beautiful place, and yeah, he's a very, very, very down to earth guy and no ego, and he loves telling a good story. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh God, that's. I mean, I'm a massive Duran Duran fan. That's all. And I didn't know. I thought he was also from Birmingham, because
No, no, from
so he's from the northeast.
yeah, yeah. he's never lost his Northeast heritage, and as a personality, he's still very, which is very like what you see is what you get, meat and potatoes, no crap. It's just like, but he's a great guy, great musician, great producer. He co-wrote
Yeah,
a lot of those big hits, and you're like, wow, he's done a lot of his life. So
yeah. And then another one that I saw is you played drums in Reef. Because I remember when COVID happened, I was
hmm
supposed to go and see Reef with Andy Taylor.
right, yeah,
Because they did do this sort of like collaboration. And
yeah,
I remember I was going to go and see them in Manchester, but then of course COVID happened
hmm
and everything stopped.
yeah,
So, what's your connection? Or because I saw Reef last year, they played at Shine On, and they also played in Liverpool. They've got
yeah.
I don't know if the drummer that's playing now with them is the original, but so you were with them for a while.
So I just filled in for gigs. So their drummer now, Luke Bullen,
Yeah,
I know him from we met each other in 2013 originally, and just kind of stayed in touch. So there was the connection with Luke, and then um, Andy's, because Andy was in Reef, and on Andy's solo album, which I played drums on, Gary Stringer sang on a few songs. So Gary heard me play through that. So when Luke couldn't do some gigs, I was kind of like the obvious choice to step in. So yeah, I was never like an official member, but I'd do the odd gig for them, and yeah, it's just kind of like those two connections really. And Luke asked me, and when the first gig I did with him, Gary was like, "Oh, we've never met, but we know each other through Andy, and I heard you drumming and all that." So yeah, so that was fun because I mean, I used to love Reef when I was a teenager, man. I used to air drum along in my room to them and stuff. It was so a lot of fun to do those gigs with them. So
yeah, that's it's just really amazing. I mean, it's like all these. How do you? Is it easy for you to learn uh, drum parts for a band that you're gonna play in? Let's say, I mean, you obviously know all the songs or most of the songs that they played because you're already like with Andy Taylor
yeah.
and with Reeve.
hmm
Um, there's another one, Sam Fender. I mean, I've heard Sam Fender's name a long time. It's one of, I think I should go and see him
Yeah.
live because, yeah. So, Sam Fender, were you his original drummer when he started, or did you just saw,
No. I did some stuff for him in the studio in lockdown, some demos.
okay, yeah, yeah,
But we've known each other for years. Like when he first started out, I mean, he'd been playing a few years, but when he was starting to gig a lot more, he used to support Little Comets, that band I was in, because we were all from the Northeast. So that's when I sort of first met him, maybe 2013, and everybody was like, and even as soon as I heard him, we're like, he's he's got that thing, the voice, a great personality. And with Sam, he's very authentic. It's real. It's not contrived at all. So obviously he kept in touch the scene, and then knew pretty much all the rest of his band. I didn't know Tom, the bass player, before, but I knew Drew for years, and Dean, the guitarist, and
yeah,
Joey when he was in his other band. He was in a band years ago, and they supported Little Comets as well. So we all knew each other. Um, yeah, and then he just asked me when I was in London. He was down in London. He just said, "Are you around? Do you want to come play on some demos?" And it was just a nice way to catch up with him as well. That was like, yeah, that would have been, was it 2021, 22, something like that.
yeah,
But yeah, I've never been like his official drummer at any point. But we've always kept in touch, and between the sort of noughties and the tens or whatever in Newcastle, there's a big scene, and everybody's played in each other's bands, and there's one degree of separation. So we're all a big sort of unit really, and everybody's kind of gone their different ways. They'll meet up again and help each other out.
yeah.
But yeah,
I suppose it's the same like in Manchester or in Liverpool, and everyone's sort of like guesting on somebody else's records or things like, or in Glasgow as well.
exactly.
Um,
It's very similar.
yeah, yeah. But what I was going to ask you earlier is like, if you're asked to play drums for a band, is it easy for you to learn the drum parts, or do you have to take a lot of time and practice and learn how to do it, or
I,
you
I
know?
have I have a routine that I do, and I usually, depending, sometimes it's how long I've got to learn it. If I've got to learn it like really quickly, like next day or whatever. I'll chart it out, bits of notes, some like written notes, some notation. If it's like a structure, I'll write the structure down like 4 times this, whatever. Then maybe if it's different fills, I'll literally write it out as the notation. Um, if it's quick, I'll just rely on the charts. Even if it's for a gig, I might look at them. But I always tend to want to learn it without any references if I've got time. So, and that
Oh,
process would be like I do a lot of running. I just as soon as I get a set list, I'll just run and listen to it and kind of work out structures in my head. Then I'll get in the shed with my electric kit and once because obviously when you're playing drums over music, sometimes you can't hear what's on the music because it overpowers it. So I'll,
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
I'll sit in the shed once I kind of know, and I'll start to work out the sort of coordination where the hand should go. If there's any, if it's an artist who's got YouTube videos like Reef, for example, there was a lot of fans that film things. I can
yeah.
work on that, and then after a week or so, if I've got time of being in the shed, I'll go in a rehearsal room for a couple of days and just kind of really on a full kit and just for the feel, for
Practice.
the response. And that's usually the process, but it's always tricky. Depending on the level of technicality in the music, sometimes you can pick it up and
Yeah,
be like, it's really simple. Sometimes it's like, okay, we're really going to have to dissect this. And sometimes I'll record little 5 second sections of fills or beats and put it into a digital audio workstation and just loop it and just play along with it. So yeah, if it's easy, you can get away with it. But if it's hard, I'll get into the nuts and bolts of it. But that's usually the routine and the way I do it. So, and then by
because
the time of the gig, I don't
yeah,
want to be apologetic when I play, even in a rehearsal or an audition. I don't want to be apologetic. I want to be behind it. So I like to get to a place because I want to enjoy it as well. I don't want to be kind of, oh, what happens here? Is this the fill now? Is this the chorus? Is this the guitar solo? I like to be present. So
yeah, because it's different if it's your own band and you made or you created all those drum beats
yeah,
or wrote all those drum beats.
yeah,
Because for that, if it's say Vant or Little Comets,
hmm,
that's yours. That's your own sort of like
yeah,
drum beat. But if it's somebody else's band and then
yeah.
you're doing drums for them, have you ever sort of like played and then there's the original drummer watching you? Has that ever happened to you?
I'm trying to think. I did have that with Little Comets actually. We're all friends and stuff, but there was one song one night in October they've got, which it's easy on it's fairly straightforward on the recording, but they had this like amazing live version where it was all this Afro beat layered and it's 4 limbs doing different things. And I was like, I can't get my head around this. So I just rang Mark, their old drummer, I'd left because everyone's still friends. He just left for whatever reasons. I was like,
Yeah,
you want to come by the rehearsal room and show me this beat? Because I can't get my head around the live version. He's like, okay, Greenie. He came down and we all had a good laugh. And I was like, can you just play it for me? And he played. It was just this intro section. And I wanted to get it right. And then he's like, give it a go. So he was like my teacher, and I was like, and he's like, no, that needs to be there, and this ghost note here. But that was kind of fun, and it was,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mate, I need your help, like kind of thing. But yeah, I've never had anything where it's kind of like intimidating, or it's always been like good fun and low pressure. So
Yeah, I guess it's true what Lol Tolhurst said that all drummers are friends. I think
yeah, yeah, not much like even with Yola and Adamant, there's 2 drummers. There's no competition. We're friends, so
yeah, yeah.
no,
Well, let's talk about Adamant now, because like I said earlier, before you came on the show, that it was just fantastic. When I saw the setup, I just thought, oh my god, because it's not just one. It's not like there's one small drummer and
hmm,
then or a small drum kit, but these are like two massive drum kits. And
yeah,
then I can't remember the song, but there are also like two smaller ones
hmm,
because
yeah,
you're in a high rise, so there's just like you're up there. But then
hmm,
there are other ones that where Adamant was.
yeah,
The two other drum kits, but smaller ones.
hmm.
The other two musicians started playing as well. It's like I can't remember which song, but anyways,
A few of
um,
them, everyone going for it. Yeah, I think Kings of the Wild Frontier, and there's Ant Music maybe.
yeah, I
There's,
think yeah. So how did you get into becoming the one of the drummers for Adamant?
I knew the drummer I took over. I knew he was a friend since for I don't know 10, maybe 15 years nearly. Andy Woodard. So he couldn't do it anymore, and he just recommended me. And I think there was a few in the running for it, and they took a punt on me, and I did the audition. But I'd met a few of the band back in 2018. I was just on a West Coast road trip, and I happened to be in LA the same time they were playing. So I went to meet Andy, the old drummer, and met a few of them. So we kind of like broke the ice with a few of the band members previously. And yeah, Adam's manager rang me up, and he was just like, "Oh, you've been put forward. We'd love for you to try out." And I was like, "Oh, it's amazing," because again, I've always been a fan of Adam. I was brought up with that music, so
Yeah.
I went to the audition, and they gave me the offered me the job that day. So I was very happy and grateful.
Were there lots of drummers who auditioned for the part?
I don't think there was a lot. I don't even know if anybody else auditioned, but I think there was a few in the running for it. There was a few that they had on the list. Maybe there was a few they tried and couldn't do. Maybe I don't know, but yeah, when I got the call, they were very keen for me to try out and said we think you're the right person. We just want to sort of you to meet Adam and just have a jam and learn some
Yeah.
songs, just to make sure I confirm it. But Adam shook me hand and said welcome to the band at the end of that rehearsal, and I was like, okay, brilliant,
Wow.
thank you.
And
Uh,
Yola?
yeah,
And yeah.
yeah, we
Yeah.
got we got on straight away. We very similar humor. Yeah, so it was, and it just very, yeah. I'm quite open as a person, and don't really think I've got an ego, and I understand two drummers. There's a place for both of us, so we got on
Yeah.
really well, and yeah, it worked, it clicked, and the
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
clicked,
Yeah.
because there's two. It's not just fitting in with the band; it's fitting in, like you say, with another drummer as well. Like, that's got to gel. So,
That's
and
right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it seemed to. I thought it did, and they did, and I was like, okay, cool. So there we go, and that
But
was the start.
you do backing vocals as well.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um, I noticed that Yola doesn't do backing vocals.
no,
Just
no,
just you.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't get asked to do them for the audition. I'd got the job, and then in the next rehearsal, I was like, if you want me to sing, and they were like, "Oh, you sing as well." I was like, "Well, you have to do a lot of backing vocals." So I think that I'd already got the job, but I think it kind of helped keep the job straight away, sort of thing. So yeah, I just got involved in that instantly, and it's fun. There's a lot to think about, because it's not like other bands I've sang in where you do the odd word, or you might sing a bit of the
Yeah.
chorus.
Yeah.
With Adam, I'm singing like full verses with them sometimes, and versus choruses, and you up and down and pitch different notes like instantly. So it's a challenge, but it's a good challenge. So, and it's a lot of fun to do as well. So
Yeah. And it requires an extra concentration, isn't it? Because you're not just doing the drumming bit; you're also singing. So
yeah,
that's like an extra thing for you to think of.
it's like a meditation where you can't think about one thing. You've just got to kind of like let the muscle memory do everything, and try not to concentrate on anything. So yeah, but it's yeah, when you're in control, and again, not being apologetic when you're on top of it, which I like to be. It's brilliant. So it's a lot of fun. I enjoy singing backing vocals and playing. I
Yeah.
like it. So
So, is there another tour coming up, or what's new?
hopefully,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Adam's like, considering his age, he's brilliant. He's doing so well,
Oh
and
my God, yes. Yeah, yeah,
he's 70 years old, and um, we're waiting to hear. I can't. No one said there's not. So, but yeah, we're the same. We're just hoping something comes in, And it was a successful UK tour. He did 24 gigs in just over a month, and there was no issue. So, you know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
hopefully.
So, but
Yeah.
what about you? Are you doing any tours? What's the latest for you? Are you just sort of like concentrating with the Adamant tour at the moment?
Well, I'm with Adam. I do a couple of little side things. So I play. I've been playing a few gigs with Will, Adamant's guitarist, and his band. She made me do it.
Oh, I
So
see. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
filling in, just depping on that. But I also do a lot of drum teching as well. So I'm quite busy as a drum tech with different bands, and so I've,
Okay.
yeah, I'll be in South America for all of March with a band doing drum tech work. So it's just
Oh, wow.
diversifying. It's just staying in the industry. Sometimes the drum tech work can be busier. Sometimes the drumming work can be busier. But because it's all in the same sort of world, it pays the bills and kids
Yeah.
and mortgages and things. So yeah, I'm busy.
I rem- well, I remember we had a guest on Ask the Drummer, and he told me the importance of having a drum tech.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you think, the drummer. I know it's a bit difficult. So like having there's so many bits in that you have to sort of like pack after every well,
Mhm.
put first and then pack after the show. But a drum, especially like big bands.
Yeah.
He told me that it's very important because you have to protect the drummer and make sure that he doesn't hurt his sort of like hands or his arms lifting
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
and because also like the tuning of the drums and things like that.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
that that's very important. And one of the things I asked the drummers if they do their own tuning.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
they leave it to the drum tech, so like do the tuning of the drums.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because it is very very important work being a drum tech. I suppose guitar tech as well. They're really important at tours and gigs and stuff. But
Definitely.
also, I know that you're also busy, not just doing the drum tech bit,
Mhm.
but also I found out that you're a founder of I don't know, is it Rock Acad or Rock Acad?
Rock Acad. Like it's kind of like a shortened version of Rock Academy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Rock Acad,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's an online drumming school. I actually had a look at
Mm-hmm.
the website and
Yeah.
things, and I can see that the fees are very reasonable. To be
Hmm.
honest, I mean, it's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
because I tried learning how to play drums when I was younger, but it's
Right.
not for me. It's so. But so, are you the one who actually teaching? If someone wants to learn how to play the drums, you're the
Yeah.
one who,
I do the
and it's
teaching.
online.
It's online. It's something I started in lockdown. It was just like trying to think of ideas, like finding the sort of the opportunity in the crisis kind of thing. And like everyone else, all my work got cancelled, and I was doing bits of teaching, and then I was like online, and just grew it, and it went well. We won some awards and got affiliated with some people, and yeah. So I'm the main drum teacher. If I'm on tour, sometimes I can't do it, or I kind of have a depth, but and we have other instruments and things like that, and other teachers. So it's again just diversifying, teaching tech and drumming. It's staying in that world. So, but yeah, check it out if anyone's interested.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna post it on the Ask the Drummer page because it just looks amazing. And like I said, it's not really expensive because you think that it's quite expensive to sort of like learn how to do this. And
Mm-hmm.
do you get to like being a celebrity like yourself? Do you get people just just sort of like wanting to go on it because they just wanted to maybe see you play
It,
or
yeah, I've had it. I wouldn't call myself a celebrity. Maybe's in my own household. I'm well known. But that's the beauty of being a drummer. You can walk down the street and the singer gets all the attention, which is totally fine by me. But no, people have. I've had a lot of students over the years who, and it's been quite nice. It's quite a warm thing when they just want to learn a certain song, or they're just a fan. I've had it before where students aren't even drummers, and they're just like, I don't play it, but I just love this song that you do live with this band. Could you just teach me the part or teach me a piece of it because or it means something to them? So I get that sometimes, or if it's like a certain, even with the Adam Ant stuff, I obviously didn't play on any of the original songs, but someone just wants to learn that style, like a Burundi style of drumming, that's very, very prominent in a lot of Adam's music. They might just
yeah.
want a lesson on that genre, which I know however much about or whatever. So yeah, I have had that. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. So not everyone wanted to become a drummer. as you know, make it as a career. They just sort of
No.
like ask you to, and because it's good that you have there's you and there's Yola, so
Mhm.
there's a male drummer and a female drummer. But
Yeah.
what would you say about the ratio nowadays of male to female drummers? Because in the past, it seems like not many female drummers out there, but it seems like there's more and more
Yeah.
um, female drummers now.
Yeah.
So, do you get like students or people who want to learn how to play the drums? What's the ratio of sort of like
Yeah.
male
Yeah. There's
male?
a lot of it's very very balanced in a lot of ways now, which is great to see. I think
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
really positive thing to see a lot of young female drummers wanting to play. And I've had students, because I've taught on and off for years really, and it's great. I'll get the occasional email or a message from like a mum or a dad saying, "Oh, such and such is now in a band," or just a little video saying this is our first concert. Or, you know, I had a student who ended up playing some gigs in Korea as well, and it was like, wow, you know,
Oh,
I'd never taught them for a few years, but it was just like, okay, that's cool. I did the groundwork, so and it's great, like on a professional level as well. There's so many amazing female drummers out there, and not saying that in a sort of sexist way, just saying because just great drummers.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
One of my friends, Louise Bartle, who plays with Becky Hill, I did some drum tech work for Becky Hill, and I mean, could wipe the floor with a lot of them, a lot of drummers out there, male or female, at the minute. And she's just incredible. She plays in Block Party, and I think she's a real sort of leader in that sense and what she believes in and kind of how she does things. It's like she's amazing. Like I was constantly saying, you need to teach me how to do this, teach me how to do this, you know, because she's out of this world. But there's a lot out there, and it's great to see it balanced. You know, I've got two
Yeah,
daughters, so it's great for my daughters to grow up in a world where there is that kind of thing, and it's male and
yeah,
female thing, so it's brilliant.
yeah. That's true. I mean, talking to you because I didn't really get to see you after the gig because normally I hang around and so like wait for the musicians to come out and stuff. But talking to you now, you're very down to earth, and
Mm.
I mean you're. I've seen it on Google when I googled your name. You're a world class drummer, but it seems like you're just really grounded, or is that the right word for it?
I think
And
it's where I'm from. I think it's just the northeast of England. We're very, like I was saying earlier about Andy, we're just very like, you know, it's very working class kind of, whatever. There's no room for ego. It's, just do a thing and that's it. And if it's good, it's good. Try our
do you
best, you know.
do you get recognized? I mean, you're in Italy now, so when you go out, do you get recognized when you maybe do your shopping or something?
Nah, maybe by a neighbor or a friend, a fellow drummer. But yeah, I mean, things that you go to a drum show and you recognize a few people that you know, but again, that's just other drummers, and I've done the same and just making friends with people, community. But no, I've never. I mean, when I was in a band that was in the northeast when we first got signed, we were kind of like I class it as like big fish in a small pond. That band Detroit Social Club, because we got a big record deal and it was big for the northeast because the northeast gets ignored a lot. And but I kind of like, for me personally, I always wanted to go higher than that, so that's when I moved to London. And you become a small fish in a big pond sort of thing. So but yeah, I'm not really recognized, and not too bothered about it either, so yeah, it's
But
fine.
you're okay. How do you feel about so like people wanting to have photos with you and
Yeah, it's
to
fine.
be okay with that? Yeah, yeah.
Because I remember doing exactly the same, and I'm still like that. Like we did my first Adamant gig was on a cruise in Puerto Rico last March, and there was lots of 80s bands on the cruise, and I was seeing certain bands that I loved as a kid, not even like famous or whatever, but I'm just like, wow, that's such and such, and they're like two bands below you on the bill. But to me, I totally understand that, and
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
he wants a photo, and I had a lot of young musicians come with me on the Adamant shows, because I'd go out occasionally to see friends at the merch store or whatever, and they'd ask for advice. And I remember doing exactly the same when I was 14,
Uh,
15. I'd go and see bands at Newcastle City Hall and wait outside and want to meet them and get photos. So I find it very endearing, and I've always got time to be to.
oh, that's brilliant. Well,
So,
hopefully I'll get to see you again soon, and I'll be waiting outside asking for a photograph and things.
yeah,
But do you do the same? Do you ask for photographs, or is that something that musicians don't actually do?
I do if it's someone that I really
Yeah,
look up to, or like have a, because I'm still the same as I was when I was 14. I still love music in the same way, and it still moves me, and I still look up to the musicians in that way, and the songwriters and stuff. So yeah, I've done it and still do it. It's
yeah.
like, and they're usually the same. Like, do you not feel adamant? It's like, it doesn't matter, man. I've always respected, like, so it's, yeah, it's a
So
nice.
what can we expect like from you for this year? Is it to just waiting for Adamant to sort of, like do a tour, or
Yeah, just waiting to
yeah,
see what happens there, and a few
yeah,
other little sort of things potential, because it's just the start of the year. There's a few kind of inquiries about drumming, and also just with the drum tech work.
yeah,
I've been working for a band all of last year, and they're doing so well now. So we start in South America, and there might be some other bits going in. I'm not sure. So yeah,
right.
it's around sort of this time of year the inquiries come in, and then maybe next month, March, you start to come up with a bit of a plan. But it will be busy because I'm always busy. So stuff like
Yeah, yeah.
it,
And
it,
so, well, I'll keep an eye for whatever you're maybe if I see you at the gig or something, then I
yeah.
will ask for a photograph. Well, I'm gonna ask you this last questions that I always ask the guests, because I know that you've got a baby sleeping at the moment, so we have to make sure that we finish early. But
So
I've added one question. I started last week actually.
mhm,
If you could drum for uh, any band, either current or maybe it's they no longer play.
mhm.
Which band would that be?
I've never, not really like thought about that in depth. It's crossed my mind a few times. God, that would be, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Because you get like little inklings, you like all the classic rock bands, and
yeah, yeah.
I tell you, what I was listening to the other week, who I was like, I'd love to have, if that would be a great gig to have done, was In Excess. I was listening to them recently, and just checking out some early stuff, some like mid 80s stuff, like the Farris brothers and John Farris on drums. And so
Yeah.
the Wembley concert, I think it was like the anniversary of the Wembley concert came up, and I watched a bit, and I was like, that would be a hell of a gig, because it's just real sort of rock power pop and some quite technical fills and stuff. Someone
Yeah.
like that would be great. Probably a few classic rock bands would be
Wow.
in the contention. Maybe like some 70s bands. Obviously, everyone would love to play for like Zeppelin or Black Sabbath,
Yeah.
but it would definitely be like that either a big 80s power pop rock or a 70s rock band. That kind of meat and potatoes solid. I've never really been one for drum solos. I'm not one for super
No.
technicality. I'm more about like, I really just love sitting in the groove and the feel, and swing and things like that, like within
Yeah. Yeah.
rock music. So yeah, it would be
Honestly,
something like
yeah. This is a shame because I always think that at every gig there should be a drum solo.
that. All right. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people say that. That's good. It's because that's kind of a certain trend and era, isn't it? But yeah, it's always good when one happens, being a drummer.
Yeah. I saw recently there's a band called the Molotovs.
Yeah.
So they went off stage, and then for their encore, the drummer came out, and
Hmm.
he did so like about a minute drum solo before
Right.
the other musicians came out, and I
Yeah.
just thought that's exactly what we need at every gig. It's just so like for the drummer to just be there on his own and
Yeah.
do his thing
Yeah.
before the other musicians come out.
Get it out of the system. There you go. Step out
Yeah.
on the road. Yeah, when I've been playing with Will's band from Armandi, I'd learned all the songs. We did a gig like a couple of weeks ago. I learned everything. We did one rehearsal and the gig, and we got the rehearsal on this certain song. And they were like, "Oh yeah, there's a drum solo in this song for you," and I was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Okay." And they said which part. We did it once, and then they were like, "That sounds good." I was like, and then the next thing was the gig, but it went well. So sometimes that happens where you just put on the spot, or they'll do it in the middle of a gig where it's just the band leader will start pointing bass solo, guitar solo, and you're like, oh, here we go. There's going to be a drum solo. And they just point at you. So it's how you
And
react.
the stage setup as well. I think it's brilliant that you're up there and
Mm-hmm.
everyone can see you. Because the worst thing really is for like I always whenever I go to a gig, I always make sure that I position myself where I can see the drummer.
Right.
So at least I've got a good view of the drummer. But a lot of the times, because of the way what's it called, the hi hat? Is it the hi hat
Mm-hmm.
that's blocking the the drummer's face?
Right. Yeah.
So you think that you're in a really good spot to see them,
Yeah.
but then once they sit down and start playing,
Yeah.
it's all like you can't see.
Yeah. It's great for the risers for us to be in Yola because we feel like we're watching the gig as well. Like because you're so high up, you can see all the band members, but then certain venues you kind of like can be nearly level with the balconies. Like if it's a small kind of intimate one. So it's so good. It's just you've got to be a bit careful when you come off the riser on the ladders in the dark, like before the encore. But we love it up there. It's so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I just hope that I wish that it was like that for everything, but of course you can't do that at the small gig. You
Yeah.
can't have like risers and all the drummers all like at the top.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. The next question is twirling, and I
Yeah.
think Yola does it. Yola does the twirling, doesn't she?
Yeah, I think she does. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you do it?
I can do it, but I don't.
Oh,
I
you
can do.
don't. Okay.
I don't think I've got me bag in them. No.
it's it's not something that you incorporate in your sort of like drumming.
No. I did it once when I was 14 and dropped a stick and I didn't have a spare one. And I think I got some kind of like trauma from it because I did it. And it was like an indie band. I think we were covering like Ocean Colour Scene or something. So it wasn't appropriate for the style of music. And I remember twirling it and it dropped. And then I was like, oh, there's no spare. And I saw it rolling away on the stage. I've never done it since. But yeah.
And then you learn to sort of like make sure there's always spare sticks near you.
Spare stick holder on the hi-hat, stick bag there, both hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only made the mistake once.
Because I've noticed that some drummers actually have a lot of spares.
Yeah.
This attachment. I think there's like a foldable thing, and then there's lots of sticks in there.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
like
Peace of mind, have like 10 pairs, and then you're like, okay, I know I'm only going to snap one, but I'm calm because I know they're all there.
What about heroes? Drumming heroes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's I started off in rock, so there was a lot of 80s rock bands and 70s rock bands. Obviously, people like John Bonham, Bill Ward, a lot of 80s drummers like Tommy Aldridge, Tico Torres, Rick Allen, Alex Van Halen, and then moved away from the rock a little bit, and even people like sort of Stevie Wonder on drums, phenomenal drumming.
Yeah.
All those kind of drummers. Roger Taylor from Duran Duran, first hearing him, brilliant drummer. Jeff Porcaro. So as I've got older, it was rock. It branched out, but I still have a kind of warm place in my heart for the rock guys. Really,
Yeah.
that's where I keep coming back to. But yeah,
But you were born in the 80s, right?
yeah, I was
So
born in '83.
it would be sort of like the 90s music scene that you're
That
when you're a teenager.
that's when I was in bands. Like I was trying to find a cover band that when I was 12 that didn't just play Oasis. So it was
Oh,
because it was the year after Story Morning Glory came out. So, but I was brought up on 80s music. It was always on around the house, and that's kind of like I listened to that a lot. So I
yeah.
went back a bit, and like I say, when I was getting those albums when I was 12 years old, it was all those rock bands from the 80s releasing their greatest hits because grunge had happened and it was all that reinvention time. So there
Yeah.
was all these bands like Aerosmith, In Excess, Bon Jovi, Def Leppard. There was all all these bands, and I was like, okay, I'll check that
Wow.
out, and just getting into all that. So yeah, and then you're like, well, who did they listen to? And it was like Zeppelin three,
Zeppelin. Yeah, yeah,
and then you
yeah,
go down the sort of chain, really. So yeah,
yeah. It's always John Bonham is like the drummer's drummer.
yeah.
It's like every time it's all like ask for drumming heroes, always always there, John Bonham.
Put him on my hand. It's his tattoo. It's his symbol.
Oh
It's
God.
Yeah, that was my
Oh
first tattoo. So it kind of, it's like a, you get a tap on the shoulder and be like, "What's your favorite album?" And you're like, "What?" And they're like, "Saw the
and then
tattoo."
you just yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
thing.
yeah, Bonham was a massive part of my life when I was, like I say, when I started listening to those '70s rock bands. It was like I'd heard the name, but started listening to stuff, and I was like, "Wow!" Because it's rock, it's heavy, it's passion, but there's so much groove and swing in his playing, or influenced by all the jazz musicians and the jazz drummers. So it was, yeah. I mean, he's the guy really. So for that
Yeah.
stuff,
Did you say that you? Because there's a difference between a jazz drummer and a rock drummer, and I
hmm
think a reggae drummer is different as well. So, did uh, do you know how to or did you learn how to be a just jazz drummer as well, or
I I'd
so
messed
if
around.
someone,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I'd messed around with just learning the jazz stuff, but never got into it. But when I went to see Steve White, that's when we started looking at it, because he was like, "Let's take everything next level." And I was speaking about this the other week. Like he just said, get these drum and Bible books, which was just like the George Lawrence Stone, Stick Control, Joe Morello Master Studies, all the books that were from like the 1940s onwards, like real jazz books, essentially. So we went down that rabbit hole, and the sort of gripping of the stick, traditional match grip, the just how to do the right hand coordination, feathering of the foot, and then the hi hat. So we really
yeah,
went down that rabbit hole, and yeah, that's when I really looked at it, and kind of it changed my playing a little bit. Um, More dynamics in my playing, I'd say, because I was a rock drummer. I could still play ghost notes and have light and shade, but when I studied with Steve, it really kind of like allowed me to be much more of a dynamic drummer. So an
yeah.
ambidextrous as well.
And I suppose it helps being the uh, teacher in rock art
Yeah,
because if someone wants you can teach other things because it seems like you don't stop learning. it,
no,
it's like
never
you're
stop.
always teaching yourself other things, so you're not just it's not like you've reached the pinnacle, you're now sort of like adamant's drummer. So,
Yeah,
it
it never ends. It never ends, and
never ends.
it's amazing how much I've learned from my students as well. Like you can, my motto is every day is a school day. Like you can
Yeah,
learn,
yeah,
you
that's
never
true.
master anything. I think if you think you've mastered something, that's when you, not your career's over, but that's as far as you're gonna go. If you keep yourself open, or always open to the universe, people, whatever, not even drummers, other musicians, be open to whatever who's got to say anything really, whatever they've got to say, however they've got to say it, because you can learn every day really, and keep building on it. So
Yeah, and do you still go to gigs like
yeah,
other
we'll
people,
do
other
gigs.
band gigs? Yeah, and do
Yeah,
you look at the drummer when you go to
doing
do you check the do you check the drummer out and see how
yeah.
they're doing their thing?
Every time with the mental notebook, or like going, oh, that's a nice cup holder they've got on the hi-hat stand, or I wonder what right cymbal stand that is. That looks fancy. So it's yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, always. And you always see it from a different point of view, because you're not just watching the gig, you're investigating like how they get that
yeah,
sound, all those sort of technicalities. But yeah, I always like going to gigs, and it's been nice sort of past few years to go to a lot of gigs of bands that I used to like when I was younger as well. So seeing it from the other side of the fence kind of thing.
yeah. No, I just got reminded that um what I found out from Google while I was doing my script, you're endorsed by so many drum companies.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's just incredible because you're so you're so humble and you're so like down to earth. But all these major
Mhm.
drum companies are actually endorsing you. Now, what I wanted to ask you is, um, does it make a difference? Say there's a sticks company that's endorsing you.
Mhm.
Does it really make a difference? Are the brands of it, or you only go for the best? I was like, oh, you
No,
have to say it's the best because you're endorsed by them.
no, it does make a difference, and luckily, I've managed to get endorsements with all the companies that I like and use. So, like, I've always loved Zildjian cymbals. I've always tried to buy them when I was younger. I couldn't always afford them when I was a starving musician, but I always loved Zildjian. I always loved
Yeah,
Veta sticks. Um, the same for anything I've used. Roland, I've always, Evans drum heads. I discovered Evans drumheads because their sort of main factories near Newcastle. So it was just they were around, and I used to work in a drum shop. Evans heads would be in when I was 16. I started playing on them. I was like, these are amazing. So, and I mean, the only recent one I'd say is Natal Drums. That is a recent company, but
yeah,
I'd been on another company endorsed, and their artist relations, George Frederick, he moved to Natal, and he kind of like was like, you need to try these drums out. And the brand had been around, but it was still a fairly new brand. It wasn't like it hadn't been around for years. So I went and tried those drums, and I was like, wow, these are like. He's like, I told you, because I tried. He's like, I wasn't just saying it, and I was like, these are really good drums. So but I still tried them out. He gave me a loaner kit. George is a legend of the music industry, and he was like, just try the kit, see what you think. It wasn't just like, I'll give you a free kit. So
yeah,
I used it for gigs, and I was like, this kit is amazing. He's like, do you want to sign up? And I'm like, 100%. So I've never
yeah,
done it for, let's just try and get what's easiest, or um, what I think's the most popular, what could give you the most exposure. It's always been stuff I've been a fan of,
yeah,
and I've been very lucky to get those as well, and I've always honoured them and been loyal because I believe, like, I wouldn't stray away from those companies, because even if someone offered me something better, it's because I love using those products. So, yeah, and they've all really looked after me. So
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. No, I'm really so like. I think you're amazing. I really think so. Right. You were talking about rises before, and you have to make sure that you're careful when you go down and then
yeah,
go down the steps, and then especially for the uncle coming back up again. Have you ever had any drumming disaster
all the
in
time.
your
Yeah,
studio?
all the time, all, constantly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, everything you can think of. Yeah, I think I was telling someone this about this story recently. I think the funniest one I ever had was I was in that band Detroit Social Club, and we were playing in Sheffield in a club, and we had a support band on before, so we shared the kit, and our guitar tech, who was kind of like the drum tech as well, but more the guitar tech. Obviously, you share your breakables, you don't share your breakables, you don't share snare cymbals, all that sort of stuff. So the support band had finished, and we went on, and the tech had set everything up. But the way our set started, it was like the music would kind of fade in, and it would go on toms. It would start on the toms, and then the cymbals would crash in after about a minute or so. And the way we had it with our lighting guy was like the lights would sort of fade up with the music. So when we went on, it was completely dark. And as the song's starting and I'm on the toms, kind of the lights are coming up, I realized I didn't have any cymbals or hi-hats on my kit. And I was like, oh no, this song's going to kick in soon, and I've got to go for this big crash, and it's distorted guitars. So I'm trying to get the guitar tech's
Attention. So like, yeah, yeah,
got it, and he got one cymbal on literally before I had to crash in, and then he got the other cymbals on and the hi-hats. So that things like that, and there's always technical things. So yeah, and even on the Adamantia, there was things going down and things going wrong. And yeah, it's part of the fun. It's just like it's kind of like the show must go on, like theatre. It's just you've got to try and make sure no one can see it.
yeah. You haven't hurt yourself though. There's no blood or anything. No.
Oh yeah,
Oh, oh
I've
yeah.
poked myself in the eye of a drumstick before, which was pretty bad. I
Oh
went
good.
I
Yeah.
went down as the stick went up, and that was like I felt my eyeball like shudder.
Oh
But it's a
my
good
god.
song, so you're like, ugh. I've put myself in the nose a lot and thought that one it's definitely bleeding, but yeah, you know, it
Is
happens
that
all.
because of the lighting, or it's just
Just me getting into it too much. Yeah, I had cramp in my leg a few times on the bass drum. That's pretty bad. So where you're like, what am I gonna do here? But yeah, it's part of the fun, really. You just,
Yeah, yeah. And you just carried on, and so like finish
go,
this, that, and then that's it.
yeah, huddle off. Yeah.
Right. Being this is my final question to you now. Being a drum teacher, a drum
Uh-huh.
instructor, what would be your best advice to aspiring drummers out there or aspiring musicians in general?
I mean, if you want to do it as a career, I'd say like it's cliche, but just don't stop, just keep going. Um, if you're determined and you work hard and you will have to make sacrifices, you will definitely get a break. I think it's like the harder you work, the luckier you get. I believe there's luck exists to a certain degree. You're lucky that you you've got the physical ability to do things and play, and But as far as getting breaks and doing well, I think it is just all hard work. Um, and don't be disheartened by anything, and don't. Everybody's got imposter syndrome. Don't think that the person who's put the drum video on Instagram hasn't done 50 takes before then to get the right one. So don't give up, really, and enjoy what you do and keep going. It's very cliche, but it's as simple as that. I came from a place where there was definitely no leg up or contacts in the music industry, so and I managed to pull it off. So it's like, just keep going, really.
Yeah. And can anyone be a drummer?
Anyone can be a drummer. Anyone can be a drummer. Like you can learn a beat within an hour and play along to some songs. It's also like never too late for anyone to play. I've taught people who are in their 60s who've just started taking the drums up, and now they're in bands and playing gigs and stuff. So
Oh, really?
you know
Wow.
it's never too
Wow.
late. So
That's brilliant. Never too late for me.
never too late for anyone. Never too late. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Greenie. I really enjoyed chatting to you, and it's such a shame that I didn't hang around to sort of like meet you after, but
Yeah.
hopefully someday. And I am such a fan now. I was like,
Well, thank you, man. It's great to have a chat. It's great to,
you,
you know,
you're amazing. Really, you really are. And thank you so much to Martin. I think
yeah,
I can
cheers.
understand now. It's like, yeah, yeah, because he's also. How did you know Martin? Is it? Have you known him a long time?
Just from like gigs and stuff way back in the day. Came to a few of my band's gigs, and then you just keep on touch on social media
Yeah,
and stuff.
social
Yeah,
media. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I hope you don't mind me asking, what happened to your Facebook page? Because it seems like all the posts have disappeared from
On
your
which
page.
I don't know. On my Greenie Drums page.
Yeah, the Facebook page.
All right.
It's because that's why I asked so like Martin, because when I didn't hear from you, I thought, oh, maybe he's gone, or maybe he's so like
Oh,
stopped
really?
doing Facebook. Yeah, but you're still there, and
I'm
you're
still there.
still
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe I should check it. Maybe it hasn't been hacked, but I was on the other day posting something, and I think everything was there. So
Oh right,
I'm
okay.
definitely imposter, not imposter syndrome, but I've got an imposter syndrome. Maybe I'll check that. But I'm still active. I'm still on there. I've got a lot of content from the Adamant tour. I'm yet to post loads of cool little drumming parts and songs and bits. So I'll keep posting stuff. So
You
and I'm
keep
always
posting.
answering messages and that if anybody wants to get in touch. So
Oh,
yeah,
brilliant. And that's the best way of contacting you if they want to. Well, there's a website as well, but
yeah. Just
they could always
greeniedrums.com or all my social media is at Greenie Drums. So
at Greenie Drums. Okay. Thank you so much, Greenie. And I really appreciate you so like coming on Ask the Drummer, and hope to see you again
definitely.
this
Thanks
year.
for asking. No, thanks for
Thank
asking.
you.
That's great to meet
Uh,
and chat. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Take care. All right.
All right.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Oh my god, that was so awesome. I really am a fan now. It's like he's so down to earth. He's 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 just brilliant. it's like really humble and everything. And we're talking about a world class drummer here, so I'm really glad that he said yes to us to drummer. And thank you again to Martin for the introduction. That's really kind of you. And I'll see you at the end of the month for Friends Again gig in Glasgow. But anyways, that's all for me for today. I'm gonna be back next Sunday. I'm actually going to a gig tonight. I'm gonna go and see Justin Hawkins in Warrington, so I need to get ready for it. But yeah, do keep an eye out for the Ask, Ask the Drummer Facebook page for the guest announcement post for next Sunday. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be in the evening, but I'm not sure yet. Hopefully but it's a Sunday, but not sure whether it's in the afternoon or in the evening. But just keep an eye out for it. Thank you so much once again to Greenie, David Greenie Green. God, it's so awesome. Um, as always, love music, love life, love drummers. They're absolutely incredible. God, and I don't know. I think I'll just concentrate on loving the drummers. I mean, deep down, I feel like I wanted to be one, but I think I know that I just wanted to watch them and love them, and they're so amazing. So I don't think you'll see me playing drums someday soon, but we'll see. Right. Thank you all so much. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. And my friends in the Philippines, good night to all of you. And hopefully, you'll be back next week. So that's it for me for now. Bye.